there was no ever indication that Ted Bundy was into men, but they're shipped together for some reason. And like Ted Bundy's seen as a cute little boy. I'm
That
so
voice.
I know I do it to annoy my friends sometimes,
Yeah.
and they're like, and they
They're
my
like-
god, it drives them insane.
That was high pitched. I almost like lost my left ear.
I'm so sorry. Rip to anyone's earphones, okay?
Yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Someone For podcast. Today, I got my friend Vivika here.
Hello.
Yeah, how's it going?
It's going good. I just got back from college. I had the most amazing time in DC. Still not used to the cold yet, but you know what? I think that comes with time.
Yeah. I know you've been here for like so long, and then now going to like a cold environment, and that's like, I could never do that. I could.
To be totally honest, half my time when I was in my classes, I'd be like staring out the window, being like, oh my God, snow.
Snow. We never see snow here. Like, unless you go to the mountains, that's the only time you see it. And I think I've only seen it fall like one time.
Really?
Yeah.
I see it. Well, I saw it a bunch that much, but I had two roommates. One was from New Jersey, and then one was from Ohio. And they're like, "Viv, this is nothing." And I'd
This
be
is nothing.
complaining.
Yeah.
I'd be like complaining the entire time, and they're like, "You are the biggest pussy I've ever met." And I'm like, "You know what? Okay, it's
Yeah,
fine."
It's fine. I mean, they're probably used to it because they were like born in it. So
Yeah. You know what's crazy? I also had a roommate from Orlando, and my neighbor actually went to high school with her. And I was like,
Really?
wow, what a small world. I'm not going to say anything about them because I'm not,
Yeah.
but like, I was like, whoa, that's a crazy small world, huh?
Yeah. I know, you just meet people from like random places, and then sometimes they're like, they could be friends or something, you know?
Yeah, like also another crazy thing I met was my dad made me take like an art of living course, and then I met someone who went to the same school as my sister's really good friend. And I asked her if she knew him, and apparently they're both mutuals, and I'm like, what?
What?
That's so cool. Wow. So I was like, I'm not going to say your name. I'm not going to say his name because, you know, just for their safety and stuff like that.
Yeah. But that's how the universe works, really, is just like things just happen, and so, like you think it's a coincidence, maybe it's not. I don't know. That's just how it works. But yeah, we were talking like before this episode started, like we were talking a lot about true crime getting into this, so I want you to talk about that a little bit.
Okay,
Your
well,
interest in that.
let me first say, so while we're still on the topic of college, we had a class called UW 120. I go to George Washington, so we had to take this writing class, and we had to do it about fandoms. I wish I did this fandom because it is genuinely one of the most bizarre fandoms I have ever seen in my life.
Really?
Yes. I chose to do the BTS because, you know, boring old me, but I wish I honestly did the true crime fandom because I think that would have been a lot more, at least fun to write about, but oh my God, what the hell?
Yeah.
So the true crime community is a community of people who are interested in like serial killers, murders, and stuff like that.
Anything that has to do with crime, they're into it. Yeah.
Okay. Let me like just start this off by saying there's nothing inherently wrong with being interested in murders and understanding like the psychology of it, but people take it too far by writing like fantasies about Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Bundy.
Really?
Yes.
Dude. Why?
I don't know. I think it's because the only reason why, and honestly, this isn't something new. Like there used to be like Ted Bundy fangirls even like in the 1970s and the 80s.
So they like write these stories of
Like
just,
wanting to be like with him or be him.
What?
I know. I'm like, what the heck? Because even
Yeah, and then you said there were like even 12-year-olds and shit in this group, and
which is crazy to think because his last victim was a girl named Kimberly Leach who was 12 years old. And what's even crazier is at the time of Kimberly Leach's murder, his daughter was also 12 years old.
Oh, okay. Damn. Yeah,
I'm sorry, that got dark really quick.
That's what happens when you talk about crime, but
so
yeah, go
for
ahead.
some reason, so let me just preface this off. He is one of the most notorious serial killers in the world. Well, And also, he killed in 7 different states. He started off in Seattle and then ended...
Ted Bundy, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So he started off in like Seattle. His first ever known victim was a 21-year-old girl in UW.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went back, and then he went all the way down to Florida.
So he basically...
All over, like he went
across the country.
Yeah, but it was mostly like on the western side, and then Florida somehow. He ended up there.
He just got there.
I don't know how.
Somehow.
But which was crazy because I have a lot of friends who are from like the greater Seattle area, and like I was just and I asked their fathers, I was like, hey, did Ted Bundy ever come up as a topic? And their father said no. And I was like, huh, that's interesting, because you would think they would leave an everlasting effect considering he used to pick up girls from that school.
Yeah.
And this person's father went to that school. It's University of Washington.
Yeah.
In case you're wondering.
Now it's like a great school. Like everybody loves going to that school. So
my sister got into UW actually.
Yeah, it's a really good school. But I personally, the weather that's a no deal right there. No deal.
I like Seattle. It's just Seattle kind of.
Yeah.
Sometimes like just knowing how many serial killers are there, it's just scary.
I don't even care about that. Like right now, I went there I think 2 years ago in the summer, and it's a great city. It's like great people, friendly, nice neighborhoods, and good food. But it rained in July. That's not good. That's not a good sign.
Oh my God, you're so Californian.
Yeah, that's not a good sign.
Is the most oh my God, my friends would absolutely murder you because like they're from, the East Coast.
Yeah.
A lot of them are from the East Coast because hello, I go to a school on the East Coast.
Yeah.
They'd be like, what? I've only ever driven in the rain like once in my life. Actually, twice.
I mean, there's rain over here. I've driven in the rain, but what happened?
No, that's just crazy.
That's just it. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of California, can we go back to Ted Bundy for a bit?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that sounds so creepy. But okay, so also another crazy thing about this true crime fandom, for some reason, you know how people make fan art?
Yeah,
they make
just like random stuff.
Yeah, for some reason, they put flower crowns on serial killers and school shooters.
Who? Just like random people?
Like the fandom, the fangirls. And I'm like, I don't know. What is it with serial killers and flower crowns? I do not know. And they always put like those little heart emojis, those pink heart emojis.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why? So I try my best not. Well, I get shipping. But why do they ship? They ship Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer
together.
Yes. Which is, and they call Ted Bundy a bicon, and I'm like, you're really doing this during Pride Month?
Yeah.
Really? But okay, for the record, Jeffrey Dahmer is actually gay. There was no ever indication that Ted Bundy was into men, but they're shipped together for some reason. And like Ted Bundy's seen as a cute little boy. I'm that so voice. I know I do it to annoy my friends sometimes, and they're like, and oh my God, it drives them insane.
That was high pitched. I almost like lost my left ear.
I'm so sorry. Rip to anyone's earphones. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's interesting though. Like there's just like a community of people that are just like really into this stuff.
No, they're in love.
Yeah, they're in love with it. They're obsessed with it.
They're in love with the serial killers. I'm like, oh my. I mean, have you ever seen the Zac Efron biopic? I'm sorry, what am I saying? Ted Bundy biopic.
Zac Efron? that came out of nowhere.
Sorry, no. So the Ted Bundy biopic.
So, I don't think I've seen it, but I mean, I know these names, but I just don't know the history because I'm not into true crime. So you explain it.
So there was a what's it called? There was this biopic of Ted Bundy in the perspective of his girlfriend Elizabeth Klopler. I don't know how to say her name, but her name was Liz, and it was from the perspective of his girlfriend who'd like refused to believe it until it came to light. And do you know Lily Collins? Lily Collins plays Elizabeth, and Zac Efron plays Ted Bundy. And I was like, I'm really proud of Zac Efron because I feel like he gets typecasted as like a pretty boy all the time. I mean, he has since High School Musical.
Yeah.
So, whoops. So I was like, whoa, that felt very chilling. I actually felt bad for Ted. And then I realized he's Ted Bundy. And then you realize all the crazy things he would. And then I'm like, yeah, I remember that he murdered over 30 women.
Yeah.
And he would also go back and like commit necrophilia.
Damn. Like this is what happens when you just like get outcasted by society. I think like he just probably had some experience in his life that completely altered his life. Like something happened to him, because nobody is just like born with this type of mentality. It has to be learned or like just forced into him somehow.
Sorry.
For those not watching, an eraser just flew out of her pencil.
Okay, but the thing that happened was you want to know why he never got caught? Because he was a conventionally attractive man who looked normal, so no one assumed he would do anything.
Yeah, and it was like the 60s, right?
Yeah.
So there was like no cameras really documenting anything. So yeah, there's no way of catching him really.
That was scary. But my art of living teacher, her mother could have actually almost been a Ted Bundy victim. So he doesn't know if it was Ted Bundy for sure, but my art of living teacher was from the greater Seattle area, and which is where he was, committing his murder sprees. And what happened was this guy who fit the Ted Bundy profile, he came with a sling in his arms. Like he had like a sling, and then he had like a cast, and he knocked on the car window and asked for help. Because that's how Ted Bundy would lure his victims, and he would pretend to be injured, and then he would like push them in the back and then hit them with a crowbar.
He would just go after random people, or like just anybody specific, or no?
He went after women who specifically had long brown hair. And in a 2020 interview, it's actually very interesting. They both, the daughter Rose and Ted Bundy's girlfriend, both had short blonde hair.
Oh, okay.
Which is like really interesting to me. But
he doesn't like brown.
No, he's into long brunettes. Long hair brunettes.
Oh, long hair brunettes. Okay.
And they were often slim white women. So I'm just like, whoa, interesting. So back to my story. So a man knocked on the mother's car window asking for help.
Yeah.
And the guy fit the Ted Bundy profile, like the tall, the wavy brown hair, the eyes, everything. And he also had a very distinct car. He had a Volkswagen too, like a yellow Volkswagen. And then she just ran and said, "Oh, hell no," and drove away.
Yes. She probably knew like to look out for this type of person. So yeah. That's crazy.
Also, he would sometimes dress up as a police officer and stuff like that, which is, I guess you can't really trust anyone these days. Well, I think that's just sometimes like, do you ever feel like there's kind of now like a sort of distrust because of that stuff?
Of distrust of what?
Of just like people in general, like stranger danger.
I think there's always been that kind, or like some kind of stranger danger, but in, let's say, like just the neighborhood or like this city, for example, like I'm not afraid to walk on the streets, because I expect things are gonna go well. Like I know there's a lot of things in this country, like mass shootings have become sort of normality in this country. So it's for people looking outside, like from other countries, they might see like, how can you live in this environment where there's so many guns everywhere? But to me, it's just, I feel it's a big problem, but most people are good. That's how I look at it. There's a few people that have this kind of, something that in their mindset that's tweaked or that makes them go out and do these things. But the majority of people, the people that are not talked about, are good. But the news and the media and everything else, they accentuate what's bad. And that has created a lot of divide, in my opinion.
Well, like in regards to, I guess, yeah, I can see where you're coming from. That I do think there are a lot of bad people, but the thing is, I also, speaking of school shooting, I think
there's way more good though. That's my opinion.
Agreed, but you also have to be very careful about, like, you know, that kind of stuff, because the thing is, maybe in Florida, because guns are very accessible in this country, which is low-key kind of like very much a WTF moment for me. Mm-hmm. I wish it wasn't, and I think most people can agree with me that it shouldn't be normalized. I'm just putting my opinions out there, but 66% of mass shootings take place in America. Mm-hmm. Isn't that? And
do you think that's related because there are so many guns here?
Yeah. Like, so many countries like Japan and Canada all have, like, sorry, not Canada, like Japan and Scandinavia all have like gun control laws, and you never hear shootings about that.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe because it's the pandemic, I haven't heard about like a shooting in like 2 years. Mm-hmm. Because, hello, pandemic, like, what are they going to do? Shoot me through a computer screen? Yeah. No, all I can do is just turn my computer off. What are they going to do?
Yeah.
But I think shootings are just so normalized that I think we're kind of just desensitized to it. And I don't think that should be the case. But the only thing is, people don't listen to the group of people that it actually affects, AKS teenagers, AKS students. So that's why nothing ever gets done. It's always thoughts and prayers until like the next shooting.
Yeah. The whole system is just fucked up because, like, I talked about this, I think, the last episode I did.
Sorry.
With Neil. And he said, or I said on that episode that the government here is supposed to be a representative government, right? A government of the people, right? That's what it's all about, is you vote me in and I'll share all, like, the majority of the opinion. If you want this thing to get done, I'll get it done for you, right? That's how it's supposed to be. Instead, what happens is they say they want this thing, right? But then they vote this guy in, or this girl, and instead of listening to their opinion, they take money from this company here and this company and this company, and they do whatever they tell them to do. That's what's happening. And that's called corruption. And that's everything that's why nothing gets done. It's because these companies are controlling the politicians, and the politicians are greedy. And yeah, that's how it's all done. And
this is why you shouldn't idolize politicians, not even AOC. Yeah. Like, I like AOC, but you shouldn't even idolize her. Mm-hmm. I think I feel like because of the pandemic, there is more of a distrust in our government. Am I wrong in saying that?
Definitely more distrust, because there were too many varying opinions on things. And I know from their perspective, like, I know a lot of people, they just say, like, fuck the government because whatever, they don't believe in anything they say. But you had to look at both sides and their perspective on it as well, right? So if this is a new pandemic happening, we don't know anything about it, they're trying to learn about it, they're saying to people, you know, you need a mask, you don't need a mask, this happens, and it's only going to be 2 weeks, no, now a month, now extended that. So there's all these opinions, and after a while, people are like, well, what am I supposed to believe, right?
I also think it's how our former president handled it, because he kept blaming China and calling it like the China virus and the Kung flu, which is extremely
Kung flu.
It's disgusting. Like,
that's funny, actually.
And that doesn't do anything which I don't think is an excuse, because there are all these other countries that did not have the best relationship with China. Was like, blaming China isn't going to do anything. So they got their shit together and tried their best to do stuff. Here's like a opinion, really, or like some theory. Do you think that it's a man-made virus? Like, it doesn't have to be China or a country. Like, what if like some dude just made it and like put it on a plane I don't know. I mean, I don't really know.
Or do you
but
think it's like natural occurring?
I thought it occurred in like a lab or something. I heard that, but I could be extremely. I don't know so much about it. But do you know anyone who had COVID?
Yeah, I know a few people.
Yeah, I don't want to expose anyone, but like a lot of a decent amount of my family members had COVID, and I was like, whoa, that was. I mean, it was towards like November, so at that point we kind of knew what it was. Yeah, which was still kind of freakish, but like they were fine too. Did you also get vaccinated?
Yeah, I got the Pfizer one.
Same. Yeah. I'm a Pfizer hottie. I'm gonna call myself because.
Like they say, or a lot of kids right now, or like people our age say not to get it, or they're scared of it in some way, shape, or form. They're listening to fake news of they're putting a chip in here in the vaccine or something.
They're probably the same people who also drink like jungle juice 24 hours.
They don't know, but the vaccine, as long as it lets me have the freedom, like to do what I want, like. We're in this room and we know like we're both vaccinated. It's okay for us to talk right here with no masks. And eventually I want it to open up back again where there's no masks, right? So if I could be a part in that where now we don't have, we're one step closer. Each person that gets vaccinated, we're one step closer. And that makes a big difference.
It really does. It also helps out the community.
Yeah.
However, have you ever have you ever met an anti-vaxxer?
I've never met them personally, but I know one of my friends, like he's been on the podcast. Like actually he was on like a month ago and he's like, I'm not going to get it right now. Cause he's just, I don't know. He's scared. I don't know why. That's his opinion, and I respect that. Like, if you don't want to get it, don't get it, right? But if you do, like, if you're scared of like what the media, or like not media, but these people are saying about how it's gonna, make you turn into a zombie in like 50 years or shit like that, don't believe that, right? Don't believe in stupid shit.
Someone
like
from my college didn't want to get vaccinated because they were scared that it was going to sterilize all of us. Also, I have another funny, well, it's not funny, it's just sad, to be honest. So last week I went to my friend's grad party and I met, well, her, aka her best friend. I mean, not gonna lie, she's not the nicest person, but like, what's crazy is we were talking about vaccines. And I was like, oh, I got Pfizer. Did any of you guys get vaccinated, since they're opening it up to like much, younger demographics? Yeah. And she said, no. And I'm like, okay, why? And she's like, because I'm pro-life.
And that made her not get it. What? But
it's apparently, that
doesn't even make sense.
I know. So I was like, okay, wait, that makes no sense. What does that mean? And she's like, and she told me it's because, because like the Pfizer vaccine uses,
they think it's made out of babies or some shit.
aborted babies or something.
No way, bro. I think they use the DNA of the actual virus itself, right? The mRNA or some shit. I don't know exactly. They're probably way smarter people than me that knows a lot about this, but they don't use that kind of shit.
I'm like, I don't think they use like aborted like baby cells and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, if you were really quote unquote pro-life, I think you'd be pro-vaccine. Yeah. I'm sorry.
And plus, this isn't like the first vaccine ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's been more than one vaccine created. Like, we get the flu vaccine, or the flu shot, which is a vaccine. There's a bunch of different vaccines. All babies, I think, had to get some type of vaccination, right? Like, to even go to public school, you need a vaccination. So, I don't know what the big deal is.
My college requires us to be vaccinated by August 1st.
Yeah.
Like, I both doses.
Most schools do. Yeah.
Which is crazy. So I'm like, good luck to you then. So with this being said, can we also switch up to did you hear about the new Texas law?
No. Explain the new Texas law.
So Texas passed a heartbeat bill recently, which means you cannot have an abortion. You cannot abort a baby within 6 weeks of your pregnancy. And that even in cases of rape and incest.
Damn. So, oh shit. What was the law before? Like there was no law against it?
Like they were considering like abortion limits, but now it's like a full on heartbeat bill. Like they banned, like it's like full on ban of abortion, which is sad because 6 weeks, in 6 weeks, like most women don't even know that they're pregnant by then.
Yeah. Damn.
And you know, ironically, you know what's the penalty for this?
What?
Death.
Really?
Even for miscarriages.
Death. Like, even if you, like, let's say you go out of state and then come back, what happens?
I have no idea, but that's what a lot of people would do.
Yeah. I think like, you should just be able to do whatever the fuck you want. That's my opinion. Like, really, it's not, unless, yes, you might, there should be laws and stuff, but you should be able to have freedom in this country to do, you know, as long as you're not harming other people, you should be free, you know?
Yeah. Because funny enough, when that thing passed, do you know Corona Del Mar?
The city?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad and I saw like this huge pro-life, pro-Trump protest. And I'm like, pro-life, I quote unquote understand because, you know, heartbeat, but pro-Trump, really?
No. But do you think protests actually do anything? Like,
I think it gets the message out there. As I've seen a couple of as someone who does live somewhere that has a lot of protests, I think it gets the message out but it needs to be like more widespread so then the message actually gets out there, you know?
So more people know about it.
It was protesting that got Derek Chauvin arrested.
Yeah.
In jail, aka George Floyd's killer. However, sometimes, I don't know, I think protests should be more on a worldwide scale because I've seen a lot of protests. The only thing is, I want to participate in them, but I wouldn't just jump into a protest, you know?
Why not?
It's just like, okay, maybe it's because of DC. I saw, so one time I was out with my friend in DC and we were going to get Starbucks. We were around like the McPherson Metro Center. So we're kind of like around like the Farragut, what's it called? Like, okay, we're at Starbucks.
Okay.
Let me just, because I don't think
Starbucks, there's like 200 Starbucks in like a 5-mile radius.
Honestly, yes. And so we were just getting Starbucks, just walking around DC because it was a weekend that day, and we were like, you know what? And I was helping her with like MSA stuff because Muslim Student Association, and whatnot. And then we see this this huge crowd of people, and then at a glance, I was like, oh, it's probably a protest. And then I hear these words, fuck you, Chinese government.
What?
And I'm like,
the whole crowd chanting this?
Yeah. Or like, Chinese government, shame on you.
Yeah.
And then, because this was during Ramadan. So I was like, oh, wait. Whoops. Sorry. This could be because I'm like, okay, could it be because of the Uyghurs? Whatever. Because I know about the whole Uyghur situation. But then I see the flags of Burma. I'm like, oh, it's about the Rohingya crisis. And I don't know exactly.
I don't even know what's that.
Rohingya crisis. It's like these minorities from like these Muslim minorities in Myanmar who are being who are being oppressed. I don't know what's going on, but I don't know much about it. But I heard that Biden placed like U.S. sanctions in Burma, and the Chinese government probably had something to do with it. So I think they're protesting that. And also,
that's crazy. Like this the thing that why I don't like watch the news that much is because there are like bad things happening, but if I like think about this stuff, what benefit is that gonna do? Like I really don't see the benefit in like consuming this so that Like if I was, let's say, somebody in the government, I would want to pay attention to this stuff because this I could impact, or like I could make an impact on this and make a positive, maybe support these people here. But for a person like me, if I just focus on this, then my whole like day would be filled with like stupid shit, like you would be, because I think this is one of the crazy things that about our human mind is like what we focus on is what gets like multiplied in our life. Like if you start to focus on, let's say, like something good that happened, then more good things will happen because you continuously focus on the good things. But if you focus on the bad things, then more of that is what you see, right? So I think more people should know about that. And if they do, if you just learn that right now because of me saying that, then focus on the good things. Because once you start thinking about one good thing, the next thing will come, and then the next thing, and then the whole momentum shifts.
I definitely agree with that, but I think there's also nothing wrong with being aware of things that are going on in the country. It's just, of course, where I live, where I attend school, like these things are kind of like, you gotta know a lot about it. Like, I'm not going to say anything about this because I go to a very Jewish school, and it's just, my school's extremely politically like
out there.
Yeah. And I don't know much about the whole Israel and Palestine situation, but I just remember seeing so many posts about this. I can't also say this because a lot of my friends are Jewish, and I have a lot of friends who are also Muslim. So I'm not going to say anything because I'm not well.
We'll talk about this though. Like religion, can we agree that it divides a lot of fucking people? You agree with that?
I will say this because I did go to a religious school. 100% it does. Okay, let me just make myself clear. I like Jesus. I don't like the fandom.
What? There's a fandom for that too?
No. I just don't like the followers who use religion to crucify people and to spread bigotry. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I like Jesus and his message. I just don't like people who warp his message. That's what I'm trying to say when I say I like Jesus. I don't like the fandom.
Yeah. I mean, I've said this like a few times, but I know like all religions say the same thing. It's basically just the same thing expressed in a different way. Like it's all about like being a good person and mental health and like how to live life and however you want it. And all the religions say that, but yet every single like person that's deeply religious, like whatever they believe in, that's how they live their life, they don't see it that way. They think it's like a competition, like of if you believe this, then we can't be friends or some shit like that. It's so weird.
You know, a couple of times back in high school, my freshman year, I was told I would never be saved because I wasn't Christian.
What the heck?
Or that I worshipped a false god. And then ironically, these same girls would be like, I'm going to yoga, my chakras are on a line. And I'm like,
what the hell?
Screw you. But like, I do agree. I'm not saying like this towards like Christians. Let me put a disclaimer. I do not. I mean, no harm to Christians and stuff like that. It's just sometimes I've met a lot of people who use like their religion because once again, I went to private Catholic school to literally hate on people because
that's not, how is that acceptable? Like just because you believe in certain things that you should or you want other people to believe it, like how, that doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you even try to do that? If you believe it, that's good. That's, that's all praise to you to if that makes you happy to believe in this religion, whatever it is, that's great. But there's no reason to tell other people to do it too, right? Like, or force them. Yes, you could, if somebody's in a hard time and they're asking for help, you could show them, okay, this helped me, this verse right here, or this mindset that I carry, that's good. But by telling the other person your belief is wrong and my belief is right, that's so wrong.
You know what's also sad about this is like I feel like in history a lot of Islam does get a lot of like shit for like forced conversions and shit like that, even though Christianity does the same thing throughout history. Hello, the Native Americans. Do you want to know who Francis Xavier was?
Yeah, sure.
So Francis Xavier was a Portuguese priest. Well, he was actually canonized. I don't know why, because he was a literal monster.
Wait, what does that mean?
Oh, he reached sainthood.
So he's a
saint.
Saint. What is that, like a higher than a priest, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like Mother Teresa was a saint.
Yeah.
But like, not to expose her, but she stole medicine from sick kids because she believed that like being sick will like be
better.
like suffering is better for like salvation or something.
Okay. Yeah. See, this is what happens when you believe in, like your mind just believes it and therefore thinks it's true, and then later down the road with better information you realize these people are stupid. Like they had the wrong information, really.
So let me tell you the story about so Francis Xavier was actually a colonizer from Portugal. He came to Goa. Do you know Goa? Like,
yeah, in India.
And he tried to forcefully convert Hindu women into Christianity. And you know what he would do if they didn't comply?
What?
He would rip their breasts off.
What? How? What?
There's like this contraption that's like, it's like too big.
Like a knife? Or...
No. So it's like a contraption. So it's like 4 little metal things, and then it has like a fang-like contraption. So it's like that.
Yeah.
And then and it would grab like the breast.
Yeah.
And rip it off.
God
Either
damn.
leaving the women.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, now you got me thinking about this shit.
This is like a medieval torture advice too.
Yeah.
So either leaving the women extremely mutilated or even killing them.
Damn.
Ironically, he's also celebrated by many South Asian Christians today.
Really?
Yes.
But that doesn't even make any sense of why you would want to do something like that. Like, what is the benefit of converting someone? Like, what does that even do?
To save them. Or to have a lot of power.
Yeah, but that doesn't make your life better in any way. Like, if you convert them, like, they could just say, okay, I believe it. And, like, there's no way you could tell that they actually believe it or not. Like, okay, I believe it. Yeah, I'm good. That's it. Like, there's no way that they could actually tell, right? And there's no benefit if they actually convert. Like, is that going to make your life better in any way? Name one way that's going to make nothing.
I mean,
it's the same. It's the same as it always is.
I just think
they just need something to do. That's all there is.
Or I think
That's
a lot of
purpose.
it stems from, okay, like once again, I think it comes from like a place of wanting to help people.
Yeah.
But it's just they do it. But the thing is that person is so myopic and so close-minded and intolerant that they don't realize the harm that they're doing.
Yeah.
I feel like that. I mean, okay, well, let's be real. What Francis Xavier did was just pure evil.
Yeah.
I don't even know why he was canonized. To be honest, I don't know why half the saints are canonized.
Yeah. How do you even get to that level? Like, what do you got to do?
I don't actually know, to be honest. Theology was like a year ago. I completely left all that. Like the minute all my Catholic knowledge just went out the window.
Yeah.
But I am, funny enough, I also just do not like how people use religions to be harmful towards the LGBTQ plus community, which I think is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's the same thing basically as hurting or trying to not convert other people, but show your beliefs onto people that don't believe it, right? So it's just differing opinions, really, and they don't see the other side. It's all perspective. They don't see the other side, and then they try to inflict it with violence, seeing if that makes them change. It doesn't, because that's not how human nature works. And then both sides get angry, more division, more divide. All of it can be solved if both sides look at each other and just say, okay, you believe in that? Good. You believe in that? Good. That's it.
I just don't think people should get hate crime for being who they are. And people often, I don't know why boomers assume this, that like being gay or bi is a trend, but in reality, it's just gay marriage wasn't actually legal until fully legal on a national level until 2015.
Yeah. Obama did that, right?
Yeah, it was Obergefell versus Hodges, I believe. That was the case.
Yeah.
That legalized gay marriage on a national level. However, well, that was because in the 50s, people would get publicly crucified if they were gay. The only man who I can think of who was openly gay at the time was Andy Warhol.
Yeah, now everything has changed, and it's good that it's now more open. You know, that's a big benefit to social media. I think that allowed other people to express themselves for who they are. Like this whole thing, like they don't have to be hated for who they are, really. Just by sharing it with the world, they're like, okay, other people can now see it too, and then they stand up for themselves as well, right? Yeah,
like I think one of the coolest, that's also something that's very interesting to me, because I do think that, but however, I feel like this isn't the case for most places, though. Sadly, I still think there are some countries that need a lot of work in terms of like.
But those countries, that's not their biggest issue right now. Probably, it's there's probably some bigger issues that need to be dealt with, like actually surviving.
Oh my God, that scares me. Also, one of the things is I wish people understood the difference between religion and culture. You know?
What do people think? Like, they don't see a difference?
They think India is a super conservative country, but that's the cultural aspect. But did you know that Hinduism had like aspects of having like a third gender or like non-binary?
I mean, I didn't know that no, but now that I know, that's good to know.
I mean, like avatars like they'd be male to female, like all that kind of stuff, which is really cool, I think. But I feel like people, once again, should be more accepting of others, because I think there's just, I don't know, given the fact.
This is my opinion, that like you could believe anything you want, but just believe it. Like there's no reason to just complain about other people's beliefs. Like you have your own beliefs, that's good. And that's it. That's good. You don't need to focus on anybody else. What's the why focus on other people when, okay, you got your own shit, good. They got their own shit, good. There's no reason to do this.
I met a couple of, but sometimes there are some ideas that are just borderline ridiculous. Remember the storming of the Capitol?
Yeah.
My friend, I'm not gonna say his name, but he was caught in the crossfire of that. He's if you're friends with me, you know who I'm talking about. He's a gay and Jewish man, literally. So, I mean, he told me it was like scary to see a Nazi flag, but like you can't ever. But the thing is, like being gay and Jewish aren't exactly identities that are put up forth unless like he doesn't wear, unless you wear like a yarmulke and stuff like that. But he doesn't wear a yarmulke, but he's gay and Jewish. But he's like, that was scary to see. But then how do you know if he's like a Jewish man? And like being caught in that crossfire, he was like genuinely worried for his life. I remember he was just like standing there, and then they came in, or what happened? Yeah, there was like this huge ass bus of like Nazi signs and Trump supporter signs and like all of this stuff. And I'm like, what? But he said he had no idea what was going on because he was essentially up in the air when it happened. Up in the air? What do you mean? Like he was flying in from his hometown to DC, and he was like up in the air. Oh, so he was on the plane, and he saw this coming, like landing down on the plane. Yeah, and so and then his dad was like, "Hey, let's just turn on the news. Why not? Let's just see what's going on." And then that happened. And then he's like, "What the hell?" I just remember him getting a lot of calls, being like, "Are you okay?" All that stuff, and oh my, that's scary. But then I also know people, I'm not going to say who, but like I met people who think that's like everyone, all the people who stormed the Capitol are Antifa. Really? No. Well,
What's that again?
And like the anti-fascist organization.
Okay, yeah.
It's not like an organization. It's just something that stands for like, it's not a group of people. It's just something that stands for
a belief, really.
It just stands for anti-fascism and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what is the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard someone say about COVID?
That it's not real.
Oh, mine was that the Democrats coincided with the Chinese government, like they both got together to get COVID, like made COVID, so then it could get Biden out of office.
But that wasn't that before.
Sorry,
COVID was
get Trump out of office, and I'm like, huh?
I mean, it did like ruin his reputation a lot more because of how he handled it. But I don't know. It could have been handled better, but at the same time, you look, that's what you should do. You look at the other person's perspective. If you were in Trump's shoes, you would probably not know either, because this is something that not like we don't experience viruses and that much, especially like I said this a few times and I still, believe it, that I couldn't believe when COVID first happened that it was as big as it got. Like I never thought a virus would shut down the world. Like that didn't even cross my mind whatsoever. Like in the years I've lived, that one thing never crossed my mind, that a virus could do this. And so when it did happen, I think everybody was shook. Like even the president, even everybody that was in the government, they didn't know what was going on. So from that perspective, you got to understand that, okay, they didn't know what was going on either. So, they're trying their best. And of course it could have been handled differently. He didn't even like say anything to the country. Like he should have had a speech saying like, okay, we're getting things done here. We got vaccines lined up, give people some hope. Like, their businesses struggling. We're trying our best to help them. Just saying that would have been a monumental improvement, right? Just having that hope. But he didn't do that. And guess what? We're still here. It's fucking, there's a vaccine now. It's okay. We made it through. You know
what's actually crazy? Like, I got vaccinated. It was hard to actually get a vaccine for me in DC.
Really? There's a lot of people, right? So.
Well, yeah. Also, like, at least at the time when I registered to get vaccinated, I also registered to get vaccinated in Maryland and Virginia. I never could get vaccinated. It was really hard for me. Mm-hmm. Like one of my friends, I really wanted to visit one of my friends who lived in Maryland, but I could not visit her because, well, both her parents were essential workers, so I could never see her, which made me really sad. Mm-hmm. But she got vaccinated like back in March or April. I did not get vaccinated until like the end of April, beginning of May.
Okay.
But the funny thing was I went back to Florida to get vaccinated because the thing is, sadly, living in Florida, no one wants to get vaccinated.
Yeah. Florida is like the complete opposite of where you go to school. It's like, especially Miami, even Orlando, like all of Florida, they don't care at all.
Yeah. I just remember being up in Jackson so yeah, no one wants to get vaccinated and
nobody like cares at all. Like I don't think they heard COVID and were like, what,
COVID
virus? There's no, we're partying tonight.
I actually went to Miami to visit family over spring break, and I like hated getting out of my car because if you go to like South Beach and everything like that, this was back in March, and there were lines outside of clubs.
Yeah, it's
no
open.
Masks.
They don't care at all.
Women dancing on top of like cars, which honestly, good for you, girl, but I'd be scared for my life. God forbid it moves and I fall. But yeah, it kind of felt like the pandemic did not exist in Miami. And I was like,
but the thing is, it's weird how the cases are like pretty much the same. Like, I mean, the deaths are a bit higher, but the cases themselves are like average compared to like the rest of the country where they're at, like especially like Texas, even California. Like, yes, California has a bigger population, but Florida, they didn't have any sort of mandate whatsoever on COVID. Like we have tiers here, right? Like the yellow tier and like orange tier, different levels of restrictions. Over there, they don't have anything, but still, even though they were partying and everything, the cases were like pretty much average. So that's interesting.
Do you remember in COVID times, like back in November when like LA was a mess? It was like 1 in 10 people had COVID.
Yeah.
I remember that, and I was just like, whoa, because I don't know. I feel like I said, my sister had a lot of friends who lived in that LA Hollywood area, and all like majority of them got COVID. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, huh, interesting.
Yeah, but did they survive?
They're fine.
Yeah, they're fine. See, like that's what happens, is, especially if you're young, you're healthy, you're gonna make it. Like it's not that big of a deal. And so, yeah, just if you have the mindset that it's gonna harm you, it will harm you. Like if that's your belief that, okay, if I get COVID, I'm gonna die, you'll die, because that's what you believe.
I think also it depends on our immune system. Like it affects elder people. I remember do you say Aja Aji?
Yeah.
So my Aja Aji was like
grandparents, for those listening. Yeah.
Sorry. So my Aja Aji was like I remember my mother and I were yelling at them, being like, can you stay home, for crying out loud? Because they're both very, they like, I am very content with like being in my room all day. I'm one of those girls. Like I don't always need to go out and stuff like that. But my grandmother
mm-hmm.
loves to go out and stuff. So she always like went to Patel Brothers and stuff like that. And I'm like, why? Just for fun.
Yeah. I mean, you can't just stay in your house the whole time though. Like I personally I went out most times. Like I didn't go to like any parties, like big events or anything, mm-hmm. but I would just go to the grocery store or whatever. Cause you get, I don't know, when you're in an isolated space for a long time, everything just, your whole mindset changes. And even when the gym's closed, like that was a big, tough part, because I used to go to the gym like almost every day. And with that, when that got taken away, then I didn't really, like, I enjoyed just going there, like going into the gym, working out, that was like a sort of a meditation for me, right? But then now it's just all at home the whole time. You don't feel, there's, your whole life changes really. But
yeah. Like, do you know the Peloton bike?
Yeah.
So my family got a Peloton bike like back in early April of 2020, and mm-hmm. that is how we worked out. Because what do you like to do for workouts?
Free weights. It depends on what I'm hitting, but like, I hit all parts of my body, like mostly weight training. Yeah.
So I just cycle or I run. I'm not the biggest fan of running, but I do cycle, and sometimes I will do like light weights, like 2-pound weights. But then the thing is a lot of reps. So yeah,
2 pounds is nothing. You could throw 2 pounds.
Okay, but okay, have you ever have you ever held out like 2 pounds and then like had to squeeze it, and that shit hurts my shoulders. So
or squeeze the weight.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I've held it, like, I know that hits shoulders. Like if you get, I do personally with like 10, 15 pounds, you hold it like this and see how long you could hold it for.
Yeah. Like, or like you do this thing where it's like you move like that, and I'm like, you move sideways like in a crossway, and I'm like, ooh, God, that hurts. But
that's good. The pain, like that means your muscle has been stretched to the point where it ripped basically, and now it's going to be stronger. That's how it is.
Rip.
It rips. That's what, when you're really sore, like if you get a good workout, like biceps, chest, anything, and the next day or like during it, you feel like it's really tight, that means you actually got to the point where the muscle itself had to grow to be able to handle the weight. So I think it's good.
One thing I will say is I do miss playing like sports, because in high school when I played lacrosse, that was like my junior year. I was probably the most fit then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because we did everything. We ran, we did weights. I just remember, like a plank. So we did like a 45 to like a minute plank, and then we had like a weight on our back, like the circular weight thingy.
Circular as in like a plate?
Yeah.
Okay.
I forgot how big it was, but we'd put it on our backs, and oh my God, I hate planks. So that was like the worst minute of my life.
Really?
I hate.
How long did you? Oh yeah, a minute long plank.
Yeah.
Like, what if you fell? Like,
we had to redo it again, or do more like 30 seconds and stuff like that. And I'm like, ugh. But that was like when I was probably the most fit. I think for me, exercise is a way for me to release endorphins. I do miss dancing though. I wish I could dance again, but it's really hard to dance.
It's probably open now, like studios and shit.
Yeah, but I don't know. I still want to be safe and stuff like that.
But you're vaccinated.
I know, but
what?
I live in maybe it's because...
If you're vaccinated, I think, and it's a 99% chance, I think, that you won't get it.
Okay, but do you know where I live?
Where?
I live in literally one of the most Republican areas. Yeah. Oh God, please blurt that out. No, because I live. The only thing
you don't need to say where you live. Don't.
No. Just blurt out the Republican area part. Okay.
No, I mean, people don't know where you live.
Well, I'm from like a part that I just wouldn't wear. I would still like wear masks and stuff like that because I'm not the most. Because I know a lot of people who are anti-vaxxers, so. Yeah. I would still wear a mask just to be. I don't think I'm ready.
They're getting rid of the mask thing in California on June 15th. Yeah.
I think Governor Gavin Newsom is gonna not do one.
That's good.
Okay.
That's good.
I'm so embarrassed that I said that. No hate to Republicans. I just cannot stand people who are anti-maskers. Let me make myself clear on that.
But how about if you're vaccinated? Then it's fine, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess maybe I'm not ready for masks to go completely out of style yet because like.
What are you afraid of? Like what's the fear behind no mask?
I don't know. I just feel naked when I don't wear a mask.
That's so that you didn't wear one for how long? How old are you? 18, 19, right?
I'm 19, yes.
Yeah. So for 18 years, you didn't wear one.
Okay.
So 1 year changes your life just like that?
Okay, but like when you get into a routine.
Yeah, change the routine. It's not that hard.
I know, but
you got into a mask routine. You could get out of the mask routine.
I don't know. I also just like don't want. I mean, also because I hate running into people that I know in public. It's like something I hate. So like if I have the mask on.
How many times does that even happen?
It's happened quite a lot. Actually, it's happened twice.
That's it. Okay.
Ran into like.
These are excuses. This is what we're talking about.
I don't want the mask to go out of style. It's like it's weird. I just want to. It also like I don't know. It also could hide certain things. So I'm just like I don't want because I don't like my cheeks, so I could just like hide them. Okay. No one would ever know because I don't know. It's just like I'm not ready for the mask to go out, and I can breathe and stuff like that. You could
wear it. I mean, you'll probably be the only one wearing it though.
I'm definitely gonna get stares. They're gonna be like, they're gonna side eye me. Yeah. But you know what? It's really annoying. You want to know how people in Orlando, when I went back to Orlando for a couple of days, to get vaccinated and stuff like that, everyone would not wear a mask properly. Yeah. Or they would do like the nose thing, and that drives me crazy. I don't know why, it just does.
Yeah, I mean, now it's pretty much over though. Like I think COVID, especially in the US, it's done. Like that's we've gotten it to a point where enough people have gotten vaccines and you don't really hear about it too much on the news anymore. It's over.
So are you going to be completely in person?
I think I'm taking a few online classes still, but some of them in person. Yeah.
So my class is also going to be hybrid. Like a lot of my art classes are going to be like in person because learning graphic design through online was really difficult for me because you actually have to be there. And then like, it's just awkward also to get like I mean, like, criticism is fine, but then it's just awkward because it puts everyone on the spot kind of thing.
Yeah, you're doing graphic design. I personally enjoy graphic design as well, like doing Photoshop and different stuff. Is that what you're using, like that Photoshop?
Yeah, Photoshop, Illustrator. I do a lot of like activism art and stuff like that. That like.
Do they just let you pick whatever you want to do, like create whatever you want?
Oh, well, like when we have projects, yeah, it depends. It depends on the project. Yeah, we can do any topic we want. Like when my friend, I know people who did topic on like how Black women are treated in the workplace because of their hair. Like it really depends. I did one about Navratri once, and that was really cool.
Yeah,
that was one of my favorite.
So, yeah, and in the classes, do they like actually teach you like how to do it, or they expect you to know and they want you to, what do they look for really?
Sometimes I just genuinely don't know what some of my professors look for because they'll praise one student for doing something.
Because
like
art is like a weird thing. Like one person could like it, other people might not like it. And like there was this, I think I posted on my story recently of this sculptor guy. He said this one sculpture that he made is he sold it for $18,000, right? And the sculpture is nothing. Like it's literally nothing. It's just, he says it's a sculpture that you had to imagine it, and he sold it for $18,000.
That's smart.
Yeah,
but like so it's funny.
That's the difference. Really, is who can really tell if it's good or not? Like there's no real, baseline for what makes it good or what makes it not good.
It also kind of just depends on what the professor is looking for, because, like, for example, like deconstructivism, we did deconstructivism for which is essentially like, do you know the Walt Disney Concert Hall by Frank Gehry? Have you ever seen it?
No, I haven't seen that.
So it's essentially like it's very like curvy kind of asymmetrical architecture. So if you looked up the Walt Disney Concert Hall, is
in LA, right? Yeah. I've seen that.
That's deconstructivism.
Okay.
That architectural style.
Yeah. So it's like not even, unsymmetrical stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah, and we had to apply that to graphic design, and that was actually a very difficult thing for me because I'm very much someone who's very like clean cut, very much like that. So it was kind of hard for me to transition into that, and also learning online, I'm not the fastest learner. So that was all until I didn't get it till like the very end of the semester, which was kind of annoying.
Yeah, that's weird. Like, do they like grade you hard though? Like, do professors
actually
like really want a specific thing, or do other students have similar stuff too? Like, if you compare your art to another student, would it be similar?
No, not at all. Because sometimes I have what's her, I'm not gonna say her name, but one of the girls in my art class, seriously one of the most talented artists I know. Her style was very much like breaking stuff down and like using a lot of negative black space, versus me, who used more like negative white space and like didn't have that much element in it, but still made it as deconstructive as possible.
Yeah, that's good.
But the only thing that was kind of annoying about my professors was they graded everything at the end of the semester, which, so I'm like, I could be failing this class for all I know.
Yeah.
So that was kind of annoying. So like I like had no idea like how I was doing in my classes for like a really long time, because they also wouldn't put anything. What's your school like blog? We call it, ours is Blackboard. Do you guys use Schoology? Like
Canvas, I think. Yeah, Canvas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't put anything on like our Blackboard, so I wouldn't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Some teachers are like that. They get lazy, I think, or they don't want to do all the work, or I don't know what their mindset is on that, but it's weird. But did you talk about all this stuff that you've written down?
Actually, no. I wanted to talk about the Zodiac Killer, but then I don't, and like once again, like talking about,
Let's see
I actually
where we're
wanted to
at.
talk about like Columbine and stuff like that, and how the true crime fandom idolizes these people, which is really weird. But also Dylan Roof, aka.
Okay, pick one. You can't. We gotta.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You went over like all these and then.
It's okay. Hey,
Yeah.
that's the thing that happens. But no. So going back to what like way beginning. So I told you about the true crime fandom. Do you know who Dylan Roof is?
No.
Do you know the Charleston church shooting?
No. Like I said, I don't know anything about this stuff.
So the Charleston church shooting was a shooting that happened in a church and killed 9 Black people. It was racially motivated because Dylan Roof was a white supremacist, and even when he was arrested, he was like, I have no remorse and they deserve to die, so he can go fuck off. But somehow this man has a following.
Okay.
And you want to know what they call themselves?
What?
Roofies.
Roofies.
It's bad enough that they worship a white supremacist, but calling yourself...
What do they do? Like what?
They make fan art over him.
And that's it.
And they simp over him, and they see him as like the soft little ooh boy. Sorry, who could have been redeemed and stuff like that. And I'm like,
But he's dead, right? Or
he's in prison, I believe. But I'm like, this guy's not an anime villain. What are you talking about? Y'all are simping over him like he's some villain in a Disney movie.
Yeah. Jeez, man. People are weird. People are fucking weird.
I told you, the true crime fandom is one of the most bizarre fandoms I think I've ever witnessed. Even weird. I mean, they're just a different breed in terms, like, I think the most boy crazy fandom is probably like the K-pop fandom, especially the ARMY fandom. They are.
Is that the BTS? Yeah.
They will literally like be ready with their pitchforks if you say anything against them or criticize them, which is true, because they see it as like a personal attack.
Why?
Because it's their idol and stuff like that, and they have a hard time holding like the members accountable because they think it's like they're gonna lose themselves. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense at all. Okay, so you wanted to talk about the Zodiac killer, right? Like that. Let's get into that real quick.
Well, I actually had a whole thing about it, but the thing about the Zodiac killer is it's crazy that he never was caught.
Yeah.
But I personally think it was a group of people who did it. Because I think it was a group and they're all suspects, but the number one suspect was Arthur Lee Allen, who you know, do you know how he was shot by Pauly Stein shot one? Sorry, what am I saying? So Arthur Lee Allen, essentially, when they searched his house, they found like bombs and stuff like that. And then he also got arrested for pedophilia because in one of the Zodiac letters, he was going to say like kids are like fun to watch. Like I want to like shoot the tire of a school bus and then kill all the kids one by one.
Damn.
Like in a really cryptic letter. And then he got arrested for pedophilia. So that was another suspect. And then another one was this person who, I forgot his name, but he fit like the profile of the Zodiac killer very well. Like I said, I think it's a group of people who did it.
But nobody is for certain still to this day. Damn.
And you know what's crazy? When he murdered, when like Pauly Stein was murdered, there was a girl in the neighborhood who heard the gunshot, and he described a white man, 5'8", like reddish curly brown hair. But then, you know who the police chased after?
Who?
A 6-foot black man.
What?
And then they saw literally this white man who fit the profile and didn't even do shit.
What? God,
Isn't that crazy?
Damn. That's wild. So they knew the information, or that they were looking for this suspect, and they went after somebody that was totally not related to that suspect at all.
Yes.
Jesus.
This honestly, like I said, I think this would have easily happened if it wasn't for racism. This honestly would have been solved if it wasn't for racism.
But I don't know about that. If it wasn't for racism, it would have been solved.
Yeah. Okay, how
if everybody like was, yeah, I mean,
you actually?
but that was a suspect, right? Is that guy the actual real guy? That
I don't know, but like if a witness talks about someone who could have potentially fit the profile,
yeah,
like why don't you chase after the person who actually fits the profile?
yeah,
Not someone who looks completely different.
yeah. But was the other guy like doing anything? Like the suspect that they went after, was he doing anything wrong or?
Arthur Lee Allen?
No. The black guy. That they went
No,
after.
he was
Yeah,
literally just minding his own damn business.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's just, like I said, I think, I don't know, serial killers for some reason in the 70s and 80s were just a thing for some reason. I don't know why. Like I said, the Green River Killer, which also happened in Seattle. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know why all of these like murders and serial killers happen in the Pacific Northwest and sometimes in California.
Yeah, it's weird. But like speaking of racism and stuff and that topic really, Morgan Freeman, he says like if you want to like stop racism, then just stop talking about it. Like don't put any, like we should not be labeled. Like we're all human. It should be just that. Like there shouldn't be black, white. Like stop talking about the difference and just focus on, okay, we're just people. That's it. Do you agree with that?
Well, no, if we do not. Well, the thing is, we need to talk about the stuff because it gets. I think the thing is, we need to talk about it because if not, then like silence is just gonna let people.
No, not talk about. I didn't mean that way. Like talk about. Yes, you need to talk about if somebody is being racist, so that person can be stopped. But we shouldn't be labeling people of like that they're black, white, this, that. Like it should just be human. Like that's it. Like that's true equality really is what he's saying, is if we just see each other as human beings and that's it.
I agree with that, but sadly that's just not how the world works.
Yeah.
Sadly, that's just not how the world works, so we need to have these conversations.
Yeah, but I think it could get to that point. Like it's been when you look back to the first humans, I don't think they saw each other as different because of the way they looked. That's not. I don't think they saw themselves as that. But I think when as humans like got out into different parts of the world, right? Like some humans went up to like Europe and others in Asia, and then they stayed in that environment and then they changed a little bit. Like some people's skins got whiter, some's got darker, and that difference, like it's literally no difference really. We're 99% the same people. 99% of our DNA is the exact same. Any human, exactly the same. But yet we have so many problems because we see them as different when really they're not. There's no difference really.
And I agree with that. I just wish we could all just have equality, but that's sadly not really the case.
Oh, wait, I think.
Like I said, like it's just people had been.
Oh wait, your mic. I don't know what happened.
Oh God.
Okay, speak into it again.
Hello.
No.
Hello. Oh my God.
Yeah, my mic is working. I'm not sure what happened.
I don't understand. So I went on a whole rampage.
No, it's work. It just stopped right now.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, well, the mic just stopped working, so I guess we'll have to cut it short then. Like you could talk into this one, like come over here, and then.
Okay.
Yeah. Just bring your chair over.
Okay.
And then go over here on this side. I'm not sure what happened. The mic got cut short. Should we wrap it up there, I guess?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. All right, here you could. Yeah, that's the end of the episode. Well, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. And hope you guys have a great day. Peace.